Do you believe that a marriage can work if both parties are not working,
Not employed.
not employed?
Yes, I believe that a marriage can work even if two parties are not employed.
Also,
I don't. It doesn't take money to get married, to be honest.
mm-hmm.
And I believe that if one person is unable to achieve, I believe that two persons can definitely come together. And if they're not working, they can start a business. I've seen so many people build something
Mm-hmm.
from absolutely nothing.
Right.
When I look at my parents and what their situation was, and how my mom always talked about how they worked and how they spent money. I know that it was like a good dynamic to grow two boys, on what they made. There were times when my father wasn't working, and there were times when what my mother was earning was just not sufficient, and they worked together. And to be honest, they are my heroes.
Right.
Because when I saw that they were able to grow two boys, they were able to buy a home, build a home, acquire furniture, and they were moving on to the next step of trying to get a car just before my dad died. And I know that even from extremely humble beginnings, people can go far places, and that is really what I try to bring to my marriage, that train of thought, because I know that okay, if I can't do it by myself,
Right.
we work together.
Can get it
That
done.
house, we can get it.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be on the hillside, but we might be right on the hill foot.
Right.
And that car, we might not get the Benz, but we can get something with four wheels.
Right.
And we can move up and down, and we're comfortable, and we're not uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of thing that I always had in my mind when it came to marriage.
So
My
teamwork
parents,
is important.
extremely. If there's no teamwork, you're a dead stick. And if it is that you're not a team player when it comes to marriage, you might not be ready for marriage.
Right. It's interesting. If you're not a team player, you might not be ready for marriage.
That's true, because if it's not finances that you're contributing, you might be contributing your time, your thoughts. There is I may not be able to name whatever resource it is that is being contributed, but something is being brought to the table.
Right.
And if you're not bringing nothing, and this person not bringing nothing, and we're just staring into space, you're looking at a stagnant, dying relationship.
Alright, so what advice would you give to someone who is considering marriage?
That's an excellent question. Please ensure that you are on your strongest footing before entering marriage. Not just, okay, things are going great right now. Ensure that even 2 years down the line, you'll be fine. 3 years down the line, you'll be fine. And you can guarantee that you will see growth in your relationship, because sometimes circumstances change, and it might shift the entire dynamic of your relationship if you're not fully prepared in all aspects. So ensure that you're on your strongest footing with your mental health, with your spiritual health, with your financial health. And if you can find a partner that has all these same things, you'll be in great shape.
Okay. Alright, thank you for that. Let's move on from this sort of situation, because we might have some listeners who are in a certain capacity that embraces mix-up. And we're not really into the mix-up and blender sort of business for the Jamaicans who are listening our podcast today. But let's move on. In your opinion, what are some of the biggest financial pressures men face in today's society?
Biggest fan to be a provider, of the household, to be a provider of the family, to provide that lifestyle that so many persons see on social media. There are people who see like their husbands or boyfriends or partners gifting them large and extravagant things, but sometimes tend to forget our reality, and our realities might not, it might not be what their reality is. You can recall seeing videos where a man go out of him way and get him wife or girlfriend a vehicle. It was like a teeter.
Yes,
That's like, so could you imagine as a man, like you work hard and all you can afford to get her off her feet. All you can afford is a teeter, but because social media is saying that you should be putting her in a Benz.
Right.
So it is very challenging to meet the expectations of social media and what the world is wanting. Because as a man, you have to be as realistic as as practical as possible. Because if you're not, especially with your finances, you get lost real quick.
Right. Do you think that social media plays a major role in relationships today?
Yes, it does.
In what way?
There are a lot of persons who view social media and see these perfect couples, but what they always see the best part of things. They always see the outings, they see the matching clothes, they always see the vacations, but they don't see, some of them, a lot of them, they don't really show the work that is required to get to that destination.
Right.
Other people believe it just happens overnight, but nobody really realized that these two persons probably sat and created a business, and the business is doing well and allows them to have this type of lifestyle.
Right.
Nobody really sees that that whenever they have arguments, they have serious arguments, and it's not always peaches and roses. Like there's so much that is not seen, and we just assume that it's always, it's always flowers and sunshines.
Right. Okay. So I think the lesson here today is, don't preoccupy yourself with societal perception of what your relationship should be. You love your partner, you love your partner. Don't let social media tell you otherwise. Over time, I've found out that persons use social media as a means to validate their lives, to determine whether or not they are worthy of certain things. But as Novack has alluded to earlier, don't watch social media. Know your limits. Know where you are in life. Everything in life is possible. You just have to work hard for it. Some persons, as we all know, have gone some other ways to achieve certain things in their life. But let's not focus on any locus. Let's focus on our lane, on our journey, and ensure that we create a better life for ourselves and our family members. Let's talk about your Christian journey, Novack. So, can you share your faith journey with us? What led you to step away from God for a time?
To be honest, I was extremely lost. I was working on trying to improve myself and better my life. And sometimes improving your life doesn't always align with the church. For example, working on Saturdays, or things like that. It doesn't always align with the church, and I said that okay, I just needed to get myself in a better space financially. Then after a while, but despite that, whenever I had the chance, I always came to church, because I always thought of church as my place of peace. Yeah.
What inspired you to return to your faith, and how has your life changed since returning?
A friend said to me that if you're always at church and you're participating and you're doing everything that a Christian is doing, but you're not baptized, why don't you get baptized? And I thought about it, and I thought about whether or not I've achieved what I wanted to achieve before coming back. And when I thought about it, I said, no, I have not achieved it. But if I said to myself, if I said that I'm going to wait, I might end up waiting forever.
Correct.
Because there are persons who will achieve overnight, and there are other persons who will achieve in 10 years, and there are persons who might never achieve. So I said that it doesn't make any sense I wait any longer. I might as well I come back, and this is my place of peace. Because sometimes you can't get peace at work, sometimes you can't get peace at home, but to have a place where you can find genuine peace and joy, it means a lot to a man.
Definitely. And why does peace and joy mean so much to men?
To be honest, men have very, very, very hectic lives. It doesn't matter if you're a high powered suit on the top floor or you're on the lower level. You deal with all type of stress day to day. You deal with people trying to challenge you for no reason. You deal with the stresses of fatherhood. You deal with the stresses of being a husband. You deal with the stresses of being a provider. You deal with day to day stresses of everyday life in Jamaica. You deal with financial situations, and sometimes you really don't have anybody to talk to. You just have to sit with all these stresses, and it is to sit with all these stresses as a man is overwhelming. This is why I believe that a lot of men have very, very poor mental health.
Right.
And to have a place where you can find peace and joy, and like you can forget everything that has been bothering you the entire week, just so you can smile, and you can sing and you can celebrate the goodness of God. It brings, it reduces your blood pressure, it improves your health, it brings a smile to your face. It gives you strength to go through another week, because you know exactly what it is that you'll be facing for the next 6 days.
Okay, interesting. We've heard persons say from time to time that money doesn't bring happiness. Do you believe in that?
That's a lie.
Okay.
That is a lie.
I don't believe it either, but let's hear from you. Why you say that?
To be frank, money does not resolve every problem, but money allows the ability to enjoy life as it should be. You don't have to wake up worrying about bills. You don't have to go to your bed worrying about bills. You can allot time for yourself to rejuvenate. It's such, our entire society is built on money. So to say that money isn't important is ludicrous. In fact, the person who last told me that money isn't everything was a man with millions of US dollars in his account. And the reason he said this is because he's now an older man, and now he looks at his mortality. And he knows that with all his vast wealth, all his properties, money cannot give him more years to his life. It will give him the best care and treatment money can buy, but it won't increase his mortality. And one of the things I admire about him, that when it comes to his family, you can't reach him. Whenever his family comes from overseas, or is going to his family overseas, you will not be able to reach him, because family is very important to him.
Yeah. Why is it important to separate your family life from your work life?
To be honest, you don't want to bring that stress home with you because of how much you have to deal with. You don't want to take out and you really don't want to bring any of that home with you. That's really what I have to say, because there are work environments that are so toxic and draining. If you were to bring that home with you, you would essentially make your home a toxic environment, and the members of your family would begin to dread your arrival. Okay, them seeing, okay, 6 o'clock coming. Oh, daddy coming. Oh no, daddy coming. And everybody start locking themselves up in the room and waiting for you to leave in the morning.
Yes.
Nobody wants that.
Unfortunate, but It's the sad reality. Why do you think that men stay silent?
The sad reality is that men stay silent because everybody has problems. Not because another person doesn't talk about their problems, it doesn't mean that they don't have problems. And the truth is, when you think that you have a mountain to climb, other person have a mountain and a half, 2 mountains to climb. There are some persons who have lost their fights. They have no more fight left in them. And to be honest, we sometimes vent in hopes that we can get some assistance or something in that nature. But when you look at the reality of life, that everyone has something to do and not everyone has indisposable income that can give you that support and help that you need, it's best that you don't leave that with them or try to let them feel guilty about anything like that. And in other instances, it makes you seem weak. As a man, you're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to be masculine, they're supposed to see you as that person without fear. That's how you should be viewed. But when you start saying, I'm stressed out about work and it hurt me, you lose that credibility as a man. They start viewing you as a boy, as
in women.
Not, I wouldn't say women in general, but everyone. Because when you have money, whether it's men or women, you are more respected. And when people don't know anything bad happening around you, you're always more respected. That's something that I've always observed. Whenever you're going through your struggles, if it's not visible, the level of respect you've had before, it remains the same. But the moment it becomes visible that you're going through something, your level of respect that you received from whether male or female, it would start to decline. And you might think you're being delusional about it, but it's really no delusion. You're being treated accordingly.
So why can't a woman speak about, for example, their financial struggles and society supports them, but when men do it, we are in a position to lose our value?
Women are expected by design to be soft and open by design. So this is something that women can do and can get away with. So this is just another part of gender bias, in my honest opinion. So while I can envy women to be able to relieve all this off their mind, it's not the same for men.
Interesting. Alright, let me ask you this question, and we're actually approaching our final question. But before I ask you that question, what do you think can be done to create a supportive environment for men to open up?
Honestly,
be honest. Is it that you're going to say men shouldn't open up because of what?
To be frank, I believe that men should be given a day, or friends or groups of friends should all collectively select a day in the week, or maybe an hour or two, where they can come together, not really just to talk about their feelings, but to be in a safe space, whether they're playing games or having a few drinks or watching some movies or whatever similarities they share. They can come together in that space, and maybe at any particular time one might feel vulnerable enough to speak about whatever it is that he's going through. But I wouldn't suggest that men should get up and just pour out their problems to their partners or whoever. if they do feel the need to pour out their problems to someone, do it with a professional.
Correct.
So you know that whatever information that is given or dispersed, you know that it is with them in confidence, and you'll never hear of it unless you are the one who decides to speak on it.
Right. So I understand that you are a member of the Maxfield High Rollaz family, and there will be several persons who listen to this podcast, several persons who might have their opinions on some of the things that were said. But if you had one opportunity to say something to the general listenership, what would that be?
I'm just a man who decided to be interviewed. I know that a lot of persons might not go in depth about their story, but everyone has a story. Some keep their stories locked away, but if I can say anything that will help another person, I'd be happy to do so, because I can remember when I was younger and I needed advice or counseling, some guidance. I didn't really get that, and I believe that if what I knew now I knew then, I would be in a way better place now. So if there's anyone out there, young or older, who can learn something from this, I believe I've done something good today.
Great, and you heard it here, folks. That has been Novack Barnes. He has shared his story. We believe that it was real, relatable, and of course uplifting. But you be the judge. Comment below. We encourage you to like as well, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who might find it to be inspirational. You never know. But we ask that you continue to support the Church of God Seventh Day located at Maxfield Avenue. You are free to support any of our other sister churches as well. We are not bad mind. But we encourage you to follow us on social media. You will find our socials in the description box below this video. So we encourage you to follow us and stick with us because we will have several other podcasts coming up. This has been our first official episode, and as I said, we encourage you to continue to support us. I am your host, Ravi Wallace, for this episode of the Maxfield High Rollaz Podcast. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We do appreciate your time. Take care, and just know that God loves you more than your friend. Haha.